This is another Houdini inspired puzzle box, but except it's insanely complicated. This is the most beautiful looking. It's just there's so much on each side, and the solution to this is crazy. And I'm not gonna waste any of your time. I'm sure you're wondering how this thing even works. So if you look on these cards, as you can see that it says start right here. It's kind of randomized, but it does say start. We got the Jack of Diamonds, and if we rotate it, it magically turns into the Queen of Spades. And if we look under here, we have these cards. So we gotta line up the Jack here, so it lines up with the Jack of Diamonds. And then you line the Queen up right here to the Queen of Spades. Once you got all those, this King, Queen, and Jack gear can unlock, and it leads to this pad here that can be pushed up. And at the top of the puzzle, this thing comes off, and this can lift, and you unlock this die. On here is a scale with a cube as referring to this. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to magically balance this die as shown here. So the 5 would be here and 6 would be here. Once you got that done, the number 3 is on this arrow, and if we move this, it magically turns into 6. If we move it a bit more, it magically turns into 4. Now once you rotate this wheel to 3, this wheel to 6, and this wheel to 4, you turn this just like so, make sure it's perfect, and this wheel can be unlocked. Once that's been unlocked, this key can be removed, and we actually have an arrow that leads to this, and this can now be pulled, and this hinge can be unlocked. And if we turn the box around, we have this little, it looks like this key. This key has magic and an arrow. So if we tilt this, push this in, once it's in there, you want to make sure it's all the way in, make sure this thing is locking it up, just like so. And now, the key can break, and you can take this piece, key, we're going to use that for later. But what we've also unlocked is this arrow that leads all the way up to here, and this thing here can now be pushed up, and all these chains can be removed, and the first chain link unlocks this sword. It's kind of janky. It unlocks this sword, and you can free this chain. That key from earlier has a sun symbol on it, and right here we have this little hint with the top hat on it. If we push it in and spring it out, the magic will happen. And we can see there's a top hat here, and it's telling us to put the sun inside of here. And if we spring it open just as it says, a bunny key comes out. And this bunny key has an arrow that leads to this keyhole. And once you put it in here, you can rotate this handcuff just like so and unlock it. And you can also get this key and this piece of paper. These will be very important. On this side, there are 2 dials, and on each dial is a down and a left with either a 3-winged star or a 5-winged star. And so what you do is you take this key. This is really cool. You take this key and you put it on this handcuff so the chains line up perfectly, and you make sure you know which dial you're turning. So this is going to be the 3-winged one, and so we got to find the arrows to that one. That would be down and left as shown on here. And if we circle those out, we get this exact star constellation that pierces through here. So on this dial, we turn the arrow to that constellation. Once you have both in the correct position, this key can come out if you just wiggle it enough. There we go. And once that key has come out, this door can open, and there's a keyhole there. But if we try putting it in, nothing happens, nothing changes. So we have to close this door and put it in like so. So now we get east, north, and southeast. If we come to this compass thing here, there's an arrow here. We're going to point it to east. Now lift this up. Then we're going to point it to north, just like so. Push this down. And then point it to southeast. And we have unlocked this handcuff, which now gives us this key. If we come back over here, we see we have unlocked this arrow, which then unlocks this little door here that's connected to 3 diamonds. If we move this, a diamond moves here. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this into here. There's a chain link that connects to these other diamonds, and if we push this down like so, you'll hear a click, and out comes a glass circular disc. If we come back here and we unwind this again, we can see that there is a circular disc here. And if we put it in just like so, close this, lock it back up, you can feel a sort of resistance when you push this again. It's a bit different this time, and now this is where the sword comes to play. You're going to want to stab the sword here, then here, then here, then here, then very elegantly push it into here. Once you got it lodged in there just perfectly, you can see this little unlock thing here. If you push it just a bit, just like so, kind of hard to do it with two hands. This thing has come down with the unlock symbol, and this thing can move. You can push this down, and you can remove this key. Everything comes apart, including these handcuffs and, well, another piece of chain. And this capsule can come right out. This is a tricky part. You see there's a key under here that has the little symbol under it, and under this hole is a perfect replication of that symbol. You're going to want to take the chain under here and carefully lodge it under. I think it'd be better if I did it with two hands. You take the chain, very elegantly put it into here, just like so. Push it in, keep it in. Push this tab up. Houdini's feet has risen. And you're going to want to take that chain, push it in. Now once you pull it out, under here unlocks a marble maze. And you're going to want to navigate this ball to right here. Very elegantly. Unlock it. Now push it down. And here unlocks a hole. You can take this pin. And right here, we can remove this now. We don't need it anymore. Right here is a hole. And if we take this hole, put the thing in, rotate it, the box, or the lid, now comes off. But Houdini and still, this figure is still inside. This is supposed to be Houdini. He's still in there, so how are we going to get him out? Well, right here is a hole with a pin in it, and if we shake this out elegantly, we now have unlocked this, which can move to the side, and Houdini can tilt right out. And we have freed him.